Jazakallah, Brother Haroon. Thank you for your continued support and leadership and representation of the Muslim community. There is so much work that needs to be done, and we appreciate you having you here today to share your voice and experience. Thank you. Our final speaker today is Mufti Aasim Rashid, the founder of Al-Ihsan Educational Foundation, as well as Islam Unravelled. Mufti Aasim graduated from the Islamic University of Brunei Town with a master's in Islamic Studies. He's an internationally renowned Islamic scholar and speaker, and we're honored to have him here today to help close our event. Mufti Aasim.
Thank you very much, Brother Yusuf. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of the brothers and sisters who helped organize this event, coordinate the speakers, and the speakers and presenters themselves for sharing with us their valuable time and making this a priority for themselves. I would like all of you to know that these conversations and dialogues that we are having are not only constructive, but they provide the basic momentum that is required for anything great to come into existence. Anything that has happened in the area of social justice and humanitarian work has started with these types of dialogues where concerned individuals, community leaders are putting their heads together and discussing the problem and discussing solutions to the problem. So what we are doing here is not only productive, but it's actually crucial and essential in order for us to see the changes that we foresee, the changes that we feel need to be made. And it's also an occasion to rejoice and commemorate the effort that has been made in this regards, because a great deal of progress has been made. Yes, the great tragedy is that it was catastrophic events that became the catalyst for such initiatives. So while we remember those who have suffered the brunt of Islamophobia and similar dangerous sentiment, and grieve for them and grieve with their families, it's also important to acknowledge that progress has been made and is being made, and hopefully those lives will not have been lost in absolute vain, even though we cannot bring them back and there is no way in which we can really compensate the families. But for those, for the survivors and for the families of those who have departed, to know that there is work going on for which they became the martyrs, and that work is improving the world in small ways at the moment, and inshallah in much more significant ways in the near future. That to have that in the back of our minds is also very, very important. There's one message that I have been conveying since the beginning of the Islam Unravelled initiative, and that is that my request to anyone who comes across these types of initiatives, or happens to take part in them, or is interested or is concerned, that there are three things that we need to unite ourselves on. While the implementation and application of it will vary from context to context, but in general, if there are three principles that we can all unite on, then we will be able to create a very strong front against these types of sentiments in our society, which we all agree are very harmful and destructive. The first is that we should unite to help the oppressed parties, no matter who they are, no matter what um, level of awareness we have about those communities, or um, or don't, no matter how close we are to those communities or not, we need to side with those people who are unjustly hurt and damaged, and um, and have their quality of life diminished at the hands of other people. So to always take the side of the oppressed. And secondly, to stand up against any oppressive forces, those who are causing the oppression, those who are causing damage, those who are causing hurt, those who are taking lives, irrespective of who they are, even if they attribute themselves to us or affiliate themselves with our religious group or ethnic group or social circle, to stand up against the oppressor, so that the oppressors in society know that their actions will not go unquestioned and they will not go unchallenged. In fact, there will be a very strong force that will stand up against them and use whatever tools and means they have in their capacity to stop that oppression. The Prophet Muhammad famously said that help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or oppressed. So his companions asked, we see ourselves helping him if he's oppressed, but how would we help him if he's the oppressor? And the Prophet ﷺ said, you stop him from his acts of oppression. You stop him from his oppressive acts. That is helping him. So that's the second bit of the message. And the third is to approach the source when it comes to trying to understand a community, rather than trying to gain an understanding through mass media, through word of mouth, through incidents that we read about or hear about, to actually go to the source and engage in conversation, engage in dialogue with the parties that are being discussed. And this is how knowledge is gained, and this is how knowledge is imparted. Otherwise, the door for negative assumptions about anyone is opened wide, and it causes a lot of damage. When you have a society where people are um, suspecting each other, and there is a deep-rooted mistrust between some members of society and others, then it is only a matter of time before very, very deep divisions occur in that society, and that society starts falling apart. And then the result is that even those things that everyone holds on to dearly are affected and impacted. So these are three things: to help the oppressed, to stand up against the oppressive movements and voices and people or groups, and to engage in direct dialogue with the affected parties. In this case, we're talking about Islam and Islamophobia. So to engage with us, to engage with our communities, it doesn't just have to be with the community leaders. There are Muslims in every single community, and they're very easy to talk to. It's just a matter of reaching out and saying, hey, this is what I'm hearing, or this is what I'm understanding. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What does your religion actually say about such and such thing? And in this way, we will be taking positive and effective steps in, in understanding each other. And man is enemy of that which he knows not. And the more we know about each other, the more we understand each other, the animosities will decrease, and hopefully we will have a more harmonious society. We're very, very fortunate to have, a country like Canada where these initiatives can be launched, and they can be implemented. And how do we express our gratitude to all of the various levels of government and their representatives who take part in these initiatives? It's just amazing. It's so heartwarming, and for us that means a lot. That means that we're on the right path. we're headed in the right direction. And inshallah, with more work, diligence, a little bit of patience, inshallah, great changes are coming our way. Thank you once again. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts this gathering, blesses it, blesses all of those who attended it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you and your families, your wealth and properties, your health and the health of all of your near and dear ones. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all safe in all aspects of the word. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen. Jazakallah khairan, Mufti Aasim. Thank you so much for being here to share those words. And again, one of the most beautiful things about what you said was how it is heartwarming that in Canada we do have a progress, a trajectory towards a more equitable and just society. I think that has more or less been one of the themes we've seen, and probably in everyone's breakout rooms, they often heard from our colleagues and elected officials.